Get your ghetto ass to the back where you belong. Karen Mitchell's manicured hand grabbed Marcus Williams' laptop bag and hurled it down the aisle. His papers exploded across the floor. Passengers gasped. Marcus stood motionless in the aisle of Flight A2847. The blonde woman in the $3,000 blazer had stolen his seat, 2A. Her designer purse sprawled across both armrests like a claim flag. "Ma'am, this is my assigned seat." He held up his boarding pass. Karen's laugh was sharp. "Sure it is. Security." Other passengers pulled out phones. The flight attendant approached, nervous. His ticket clearly read 2A. Her entitlement said she didn't care. "Have you ever been treated like you don't belong somewhere you've earned the right to be?" Marcus bent down to collect his scattered documents. A black American Express Centurion card slipped from the pile. He quickly gathered it with the rest, but not before a sharp-eyed passenger in 3C noticed the metallic gleam. "Sir, I need to see your boarding pass," said Jennifer, the flight attendant, her voice tight with practiced diplomacy. Karen's voice cut through the cabin like a blade. "I've been executive platinum for 15 years. 15 years. I've flown 2.3 million miles and spent $750,000 with this airline." She held her status card like a weapon. "I know who belongs in first class." Marcus handed over his boarding pass without a word. Jennifer studied it, then Karen's. "Ma'am, this gentleman's ticket shows seat 2A." "Bullshit!" Karen's eyes blazed. "Check the system." "I'm Karen Mitchell, Executive Platinum member since 2009. I get automatic upgrades. This person probably printed a fake boarding pass." Behind them, Sarah Lane in seat 4B had already started live streaming on TikTok. Her phone screen showed 247 viewers and climbing. Comments flooded in. "What's happening? Is this real? Someone getting kicked off?" The overhead display showed, "Departure, 15 minutes." Karen turned to face the growing audience of passengers. "Ladies and gentlemen, this is exactly what's wrong with airlines today. Scammers gaming the system while loyal customers get screwed." Marcus remained silent, his worn Rolex Submariner catching the cabin light as he organized his papers. A leather portfolio marked "Confidential" lay among his belongings. "I have Robert Johnson's direct number," Karen announced, waving her phone. "The CEO knows me personally. My corporate account books over 200 flights annually. We generate millions in revenue." A businessman in 1A looked uncomfortable. The woman across the aisle pretended to read her magazine, but her eyes flicked toward the confrontation. Sarah's live stream hit 1,500 viewers. Comments were splitting. "Karen energy detected," and "check his ticket properly." "Flight attendant," Karen's voice rose, "I need this resolved immediately. I have a $2 million deal closing in New York. My connecting flight cannot be missed." Jennifer glanced nervously toward the cockpit. "Ma'am, his boarding pass is valid." "Then explain how two people have the same seat assignment." Karen's laugh was brittle. "Either your system is broken or someone's lying." Marcus's phone buzzed. A text from Thompson appeared on his screen. "Board meeting moved to 3 p.m. due to weather delays." He typed back quickly. "Understood. Maybe delayed myself." Karen noticed the exchange. "Oh, now he's texting his accomplices." Probably coordinating their next scam. "Ma'am," Marcus said quietly, "there's been a misunderstanding. I just need to sit in my assigned seat." "Don't ma'am me." Karen's face flushed red. "Where's your status card?" "Your million-miler certificate. Show me your executive platinum membership." Marcus reached into his jacket. His fingers brushed against a simple business card, but he pulled out his driver's license instead. "This proves nothing," Karen scoffed. "Anyone can have an ID. I want to see airline status. Real credentials." The cabin grew tenser. Other first-class passengers shifted uncomfortably. A man in 2C cleared his throat. Perhaps, the businessman suggested, the airline could find alternative seating for everyone. Karen whirled on him. I paid for this specific seat. I earned this seat through years of loyalty. I'm not moving for some street thug who probably never flew first class in his life. Sarah's live stream exploded to 3,200 viewers. Comments poured in. Did she just say that? This is insane. Record everything. Marcus remained impossibly calm. He made a quiet phone call, turning slightly away. Yes, it's me, he said softly. I'm running late. Handle the preliminary items without me. Karen overheard and laughed mockingly. Listen to him pretending to be important. Probably calling his dealer. The departure countdown hit 12 minutes. Jennifer looked increasingly distressed. Ma'am, our policy is clear. Boarding pass assignments. Your policy is discriminatory. Karen's voice echoed through first class. High-value customers like me shouldn't be harassed by people who clearly don't belong here. She pulled up her American Airlines app, showing her flight history. Look at this. 847 first-class flights. Perfect customer rating. Executive status renewed every year since 2009. Marcus watched her performance with quiet dignity. His leather messenger bag, worn but expensive, rested at his feet. An airline ID badge peeked from the side pocket, but it was partially obscured. I'm posting about this, Karen announced, typing furiously on Facebook. Executive Platinum member Karen Mitchell dealing with seat theft on Flight A2847. This is what loyal customers face today. Her post immediately got likes from her business network. Comments appeared. So sorry, Karen. Airlines have no respect anymore. Sue them. Sarah's TikTok audience reached 4,800 viewers. The comments section was a battlefield. Team Karen versus check the facts first. The tension in the cabin was suffocating. Marcus hadn't raised his voice once, but Karen's accusations grew more venomous by the minute. Security, she demanded, needs to remove this man immediately before he becomes violent. Marcus looked up from his papers, meeting her eyes with steady calm. Ma'am, I just want to sit down. The simplicity of his words somehow made Karen's hysteria look even more unhinged. What seems to be the problem here? Mark Harrison, the flight supervisor, emerged from the galley. His crisp white shirt bore 4 service stripes. 23 years with American Airlines had taught him to spot high-maintenance passengers from 50 feet away. Karen's face lit up like Christmas morning. Finally, someone with authority. Mark Harrison, right? I remember you from my complaint last month about the delayed Dallas flight. Mark's expression shifted. He recognized the name immediately. Karen Mitchell, Executive Platinum since 2009. Customer service file thicker than a phone book. Average complaint resolution cost, $1,200 per incident. His boss had specifically mentioned her during their last team meeting. Miss Mitchell, Mark said with careful deference, what can we do for you today? This man, Karen pointed at Marcus like he was contaminated, is trying to steal my seat. He has some fake boarding pass and refuses to move. Mark glanced at Marcus, taking in the simple clothes, the modest appearance. Then he looked at Karen's designer outfit, her platinum status radiating privilege like a beacon. Sir, Mark addressed Marcus, perhaps we could accommodate you in premium economy? I'm authorized to offer a $200 flight credit for the inconvenience. The words hit the cabin like a thunderclap. Sarah's live stream audience exploded to 8,500 viewers. Comments flew. Are you kidding me? Check the ticket. This is discrimination. Marcus remained perfectly still. I'd prefer to sit in my assigned seat. Karen smiled triumphantly. You see? Unreasonable. Probably hoping to cause a scene and sue for discrimination. I've seen this scam before. Ma'am, Jennifer whispered urgently to Mark, I've checked the system 3 times. His boarding pass is legitimate. Seat 2A is his assigned seat. Mark's jaw tightened. Karen Mitchell generated $52,000 annually for the airline. Customer service had clear instructions. Keep VIP passengers happy at all costs. Sir, Mark's tone grew firmer. I'm offering you a very generous compensation package. Premium economy, $200 credit, plus priority boarding on your next flight. And if I refuse, Marcus asked quietly, then we'll need to resolve this differently. The threat hung in the air like smoke. Other passengers started murmuring nervously. The businessman in 1A pulled out his phone to record. The woman in 1C pretended to organize her purse while obviously listening. Karen sensed victory approaching. Call security, Mark. This man is disrupting the entire flight with his entitled attitude. Sarah's live stream hit 12,000 viewers. Her hands shook as she adjusted the camera angle. Comments flooded in faster than she could read. This is insane. Someone help him. Where's the justice? Corporate discrimination live. Karen posted another Facebook update. Flight supervisor finally siding with paying customer over seat thief. Some sanity restored. The post got 30 likes in 2 minutes from her business network. Departure, 8 minutes. Mark pulled out his radio. Ground security to gate A23. Passenger issue requiring immediate assistance. Marcus checked his phone. Another text from Thompson. Media briefing at 4 p.m. Will you make it for the announcement? He replied, unclear. Situation developing here. Karen noticed the exchange and laughed harshly. Look at him texting again, probably organizing more scammers for other flights. This is clearly coordinated fraud. Ma'am, the businessman in 1A finally spoke up. Perhaps we should verify both tickets properly before calling security? Karen rounded on him like a viper. Excuse me? I've been executive platinum longer than you've probably been flying. Don't lecture me about airline protocols when you don't understand customer hierarchy. The man retreated into his seat, cowed by her venom. 2 security officers appeared at the aircraft door. Both were white, both looked tired from a long shift. Mark briefed them quietly, but his words carried VIP customer, seat dispute, non-compliance, possible fraud. Officer Rodriguez surveyed the scene. He saw a well-dressed blonde woman pointing at a casually dressed black man. 20 years in airport security had shown him this script before. Sir, Rodriguez addressed Marcus, we need you to cooperate with the flight crew's instructions. Marcus handed over his boarding pass without argument. Rodriguez studied it, frowning deeply. This shows seat 2A, he said to Mark. Computer error, Karen interjected smoothly. It happens all the time with upgraded passengers. The system double-booked the seat. My executive platinum status gives me automatic upgrades, so obviously the seat belongs to me. Officer Williams, Rodriguez's partner, nodded slowly. It sounded reasonable. VIP passengers did have upgrade privileges that sometimes caused confusion. Sarah's live stream audience reached 18,000. Comments were going insane. Check the computer. This is wrong. Film everything. Viral discrimination. But other comments supported Karen. She's a paying customer. Status should matter. He should just take the compensation. VIP rights exist for a reason. The cabin atmosphere grew toxic. Passengers chose sides. Some filmed secretly. Others whispered among themselves. Sir, Rodriguez said to Marcus, we can escort you to premium economy, or you can take the next flight. Your choice. Marcus looked around the cabin. Every eye was on him. Phones were recording from multiple angles. His moment of truth had arrived. Officer, with respect, this is my assigned seat. I have a confirmed reservation. And I, Karen's voice dripped with righteous indignation, have 15 years of loyalty and executive platinum status. I've earned the right to sit where I belong through consistent investment in this airline. Mark checked his watch nervously. 7 minutes to departure. Ground control was getting impatient. The domino effect of delays would cost thousands in missed connections. Sir, final warning. Move voluntarily, or we'll escort you off the aircraft. Marcus remained seated in the aisle, papers still scattered around his feet. His calm was unnerving. Most passengers would be arguing, pleading, shouting by now. Karen filmed him with her phone triumphantly. Recording this for my complaint. Passenger refusing lawful instructions from crew and security. This proves he's the problem. Ma'am, Jennifer tried one last desperate time, the computer clearly shows his reservation. The computer is wrong! Karen's voice reached a new octave. I've been flying first class since before this system existed. I know my rights better than some junior flight attendant. Jennifer's face flushed red. Other crew members watched helplessly from the galley. Sarah's live stream hit 25,000 viewers. The comments section was a war zone. Flightgate started trending on Twitter. Local news stations were already picking up the story. Officer Rodriguez reached for his handcuffs. Sir, you're under arrest for interfering with flight operations. That's when Marcus finally moved. He reached slowly into his jacket pocket, movements deliberate and careful. Security tensed, hands moving toward their radios. Marcus pulled out his phone with steady fingers. The cabin held its breath. I need to make one phone call, he said quietly. No calls, Rodriguez said firmly. You're coming with us. Actually, Marcus said, his voice carrying a new tone of authority that made everyone pause. I think you should hear this. He dialed a single number. Karen smirked confidently. Calling his lawyer? Good luck with that. Marcus put the phone on speaker. Everyone leaned forward to listen. The phone rang once. Captain Rodriguez speaking. Marcus's voice was calm, steady. Captain, this is Marcus Williams. I'm on flight 2847. We have a situation that requires your immediate attention. The cabin fell silent. Karen's smirk wavered slightly. Something in Marcus's tone had shifted, professional, authoritative. Mr. Williams, came the voice through the speaker. What's the nature of the problem? Security Officer Rodriguez blinked. Same last name as the captain? Coincidence? I'm currently being threatened with arrest by ground security for sitting in my assigned seat, Marcus said. The situation involves a passenger dispute that has escalated beyond reasonable bounds. Karen laughed nervously. Nice try. Pretending to know the captain won't work. Captain Rodriguez's voice came back immediately. Mr. Williams, are you saying crew members are not honoring your ticket? Mark Harrison went pale. Something was wrong. Very wrong. That's correct, Captain. Despite having a valid boarding pass for seat 2A, I'm being asked to move to accommodate another passenger who claims executive platinum status overrides confirmed reservations. The captain's response came like a thunderbolt. Ladies and gentlemen, this is Captain Rodriguez speaking to all passengers and crew. You are currently in the presence of Marcus Williams, Chief Executive Officer and majority shareholder of American Airlines. The words echoed through the cabin like a bomb blast. Karen's face drained of every drop of color. Her phone slipped from her fingers, clattering to the floor. Mark Harrison's clipboard fell from his hands. His mouth opened and closed like a fish gasping for air. Security Officer Rodriguez stepped back instinctively, his hand moving away from his handcuffs. Jennifer's eyes went wide with recognition. Oh my God, she whispered. The coffee service last month on the Dallas flight. You're... Sarah's live stream exploded. 45,000 viewers and climbing. Comments flew faster than light. No fucking way. Plot twist. Karen is done. CEO reveal. The businessman in 1A started recording frantically. Other passengers pulled out phones, suddenly realizing they were witnessing history, but Marcus wasn't finished. Captain, please continue with the announcement. Mr. Williams flew to Atlanta yesterday for emergency board meetings regarding discrimination complaints filed against our airline. He was returning to New York for a press conference addressing these exact issues. Karen's world collapsed in real time. Her executive platinum card felt like toxic waste in her hand. Furthermore, the captain continued, Mr. Williams specifically requested to fly commercial rather than company aircraft to observe our customer service protocols firsthand. Mark Harrison's 23-year career flashed before his eyes. He had just sided against his own CEO. Security Officer Williams grabbed his partner's arm. We need to back off. Now. But Marcus held up a hand. Please, let the captain finish. Ladies and gentlemen, Mr. Williams was traveling under normal passenger protocols to conduct what we call a mystery passenger evaluation. What you've witnessed today is exactly why these evaluations are necessary. Sarah's live stream hit 60,000 viewers. Hashtag CEO reveal was trending worldwide. Major news outlets were already picking up the story. Karen tried to speak but only managed a strangled whisper. I didn't. How was I supposed to? No, Marcus asked quietly. You weren't supposed to know. That was the point. He stood slowly, gathering his scattered papers with deliberate calm. Among them, a leather portfolio marked Board Confidential Discrimination Review. The question, Miss Mitchell, isn't whether you knew who I was. The question is why you felt entitled to treat any passenger the way you treated me. Mark Harrison found his voice. Mr. Williams, sir, I sincerely apologize. I had no idea. No idea that treating passengers with dignity was company policy regardless of their appearance. Marcus's tone remained level, but his words cut like steel. Jennifer stepped forward nervously. Sir, I tried to tell them your boarding pass was valid. You did your job correctly, Jennifer. Thank you. Karen finally managed full sentences. Mr. Williams, please, I'm so sorry. I never meant. I have nothing against. I just thought. You thought what, exactly? The live stream audience was now 75,000 strong. Comments poured in. Finish her. Justice time. Drag her, Marcus. Karen's face crumpled. I thought people like you. She couldn't finish the sentence. People like me? Marcus's voice remained dangerously calm. I didn't mean it that way. How did you mean it? The cabin was dead silent except for the hum of phones recording. Every word would be preserved forever. I don't know. I'm confused. This is all happening so fast. Marcus picked up the American Express Centurion card that had fallen earlier. This is a card reserved for people who charge over $250,000 annually. I qualified not because of my airline position, but because of personal spending. He held up his worn Rolex. This watch cost more than most people's cars. I wear it because my father gave it to me, not to impress anyone. Karen stared at the watch, recognition dawning. She knew luxury when she saw it. The leather messenger bag? Custom made in Italy. The portfolio? Contains confidential board documents worth millions in corporate decisions. Each revelation hit like a physical blow. Karen had seen the signs and dismissed them because of his skin color. But here's what matters most, Marcus continued. None of those things should determine how you treat another human being. Security Officer Rodriguez finally spoke. Sir, we owe you a sincere apology. We acted on incomplete information. You acted on assumptions, Marcus corrected. Assumptions based on appearance. Mark Harrison was sweating profusely. Mr. Williams, what can we do to make this right? Marcus looked around the cabin. Every passenger was transfixed. Sarah's live stream had become appointment viewing for nearly 100,000 people. That, Marcus said, depends on what Ms. Mitchell chooses to do next. All eyes turned to Karen. She sat in his stolen seat, looking smaller by the second. "But first," Marcus added, reaching into his briefcase, "there's one more thing everyone should know about why I was really flying to New York today." He pulled out a press release marked "Embargoed until 3 p.m. EST. This was supposed to be announced at our board meeting this afternoon." Karen's face went from white to green. The entire cabin leaned forward. Marcus held the press release like a weapon. The cabin atmosphere was electric with anticipation. "This document," he said, his voice carrying across the silent aircraft, "announces American Airlines' new $75 million Wings of Equity initiative, the largest diversity investment in aviation history." Karen's hands trembled violently. She was sitting in the CEO's seat while he announced a program she had just proven necessary. The initiative includes mandatory bias training for all employees, independent oversight of customer complaints, and a zero-tolerance policy for discrimination at any level. Mark Harrison felt his career evaporating in real time. Sarah's live stream audience hit 120,000 viewers. Comments exploded. Karen helped fund diversity training. Poetic justice. This is legendary. Marcus continued reading from the official document. Furthermore, the program establishes immediate consequences for staff who enable discriminatory behavior, regardless of customer status or spending power. He looked directly at Mark. That includes supervisors who prioritize revenue over respect. Mark's face was ashen. "Sir, I can explain my decision-making process." "Explain what?" "That you assumed a black passenger in simple clothes couldn't afford first class? That you chose to believe accusations without investigating? That you called security on your own CEO based purely on visual assessment?" The words cut deep. Mark had no defense that wouldn't make things worse. Marcus turned to Karen, still occupying his seat like a deer in headlights. "Miss Mitchell, let's discuss your executive platinum status in detail." He pulled out his phone, accessing the airline's internal customer database with CEO credentials. Karen Mitchell, member since March 15, 2009, lifetime spending, $847,293, annual average, $52,364. His fingers scrolled through her extensive file. Complaint history, 47 formal complaints in 15 years. Karen's mouth went completely dry. Average resolution cost per complaint, $1,237. Total cost of appeasing your discriminatory behavior over the years, $58,139. The numbers hung in the air like an indictment of the entire VIP system. Your actual profit margin to our airline, 8.2% of annual spending. That's $4,294 per year in actual profit after all costs. Karen's executive platinum status suddenly felt like fool's gold. Cost of this incident going viral with 150,000 viewers and climbing every second. Immeasurable damage to brand reputation that will take years to repair. Marcus's tone remained calm and professional, but each word landed like a precision strike. Return on investment for tolerating your discriminatory behavior over 15 years. Negative $53,845. Sarah's live stream chat was going absolutely insane. He's destroying her with math. Corporate execution by spreadsheet. CEO-level savage business skills. Ms. Mitchell, you claimed executive platinum status gives you certain rights. Let me clarify those rights for you and our 170,000 viewers. Marcus accessed her account details live on camera, the screen visible to everyone watching. Executive Platinum provides priority boarding, free upgrades when available based on inventory, lounge access, expedited customer service, and bonus mile accumulation. It does not provide the right to discriminate against other passengers, the right to claim seats not assigned to you, or the right to treat other human beings as inferior based on their appearance. Karen tried to shrink into the seat that wasn't hers. Your corporate account, Mitchell Realty Group LLC, books approximately 200 flights annually worth $185,847 in gross revenue to American Airlines. Karen's eyes widened in terror. He had access to everything, every detail of her business relationship. As of this moment, that corporate account is suspended pending a comprehensive review of your company's discrimination policies and cultural practices. You can't do that! Karen finally found her voice, desperation creeping in. I have contracts! Clients flying this week. Deals closing that depend on those flights. I can and I am, Marcus replied with unwavering steadiness. Discrimination violates our terms of service, specifically Section 12.4.7 of our Corporate Partnership Agreement. He began typing on his phone with deliberate keystrokes. Executive Platinum membership, terminated effective immediately. All accrued miles, 847,293 miles forfeited to company. All future bookings under this account automatically canceled. Karen gasped audibly, the sound echoing through the cabin. 15 years of loyalty and accumulated benefits vanishing in real time. But I spent almost $1 million with this airline. And now you've learned that money doesn't buy the right to dehumanize people, Marcus replied without emotion. Mark Harrison found his voice through the fear. Sir, what about my position? My employment status. Marcus looked at him with profound disappointment. Mark, you've been with us 23 years. You should absolutely know better than this. I was following established protocol for VIP customer disputes. You were enabling discrimination and choosing revenue over human dignity. There's a fundamental difference. Marcus accessed Mark's employee file on his phone. Employee ID 4829 Mark Harrison. Suspension without pay, effective immediately. Full investigation by Human Resources to follow within 48 hours. Mark's face crumpled completely. Sir, please. I have a family, 2 kids in college, a mortgage. So, do the passengers you've failed to protect over the years with your biased decision-making? Marcus's voice remained level. How many other incidents like this have you handled by automatically appeasing the aggressive party? Mark couldn't answer because they both knew the truth. Security Officer Rodriguez stepped forward nervously. Mr. Williams, we owe you a sincere and formal apology as well. You do. But you're not my direct employees. Your company, Allied Universal Security Services, holds contract AAS 2024-789 with American Airlines worth $2.3 million annually. Rodriguez paled visibly. That contract includes specific anti-discrimination training requirements and bias recognition protocols. Today's incident suggests that training was either inadequate or ignored completely. Marcus made another call, putting it on speaker for maximum transparency. Legal Department, this is Marcus Williams. I need immediate documentation of Incident A 2024-1147. Full passenger manifest, complete crew assignments, security response timeline, and witness statements. Yes, sir, came the crisp voice through the phone. Preparing comprehensive incident report with video evidence and social media documentation now. Karen watched helplessly as her entire world collapsed with corporate efficiency and precision. Mr. Williams, she pleaded desperately, surely we can resolve this privately. I'll apologize publicly. I'll take sensitivity training. Just please don't destroy my business and livelihood. Marcus studied her for a long, uncomfortable moment. The cabin was dead silent except for the whispered commentary on Sarah's live stream. Miss Mitchell, you called me an animal. You told me to get my ghetto ass to the back of the plane. You accused me of fraud, theft, and criminal behavior. All while 170,000 people watched live. Each accusation hit like a physical blow to her remaining dignity. You did this not because I was rude, not because I was aggressive, not because I caused any problems. You did this solely because of how I looked and the color of my skin." Karen couldn't meet his eyes anymore. "The question isn't whether I'll destroy your business. The question is whether you've learned anything meaningful from this experience." Marcus turned to address the live stream camera directly. "Ladies and gentlemen watching this unfold, what you've witnessed today happens every single day in every industry across America. The difference is that today, it was recorded and witnessed." Comments flooded Sarah's stream. Preach. Truth bomb. Every single word. Real talk. The real change happens when people like Miss D. Mitchell learn that their behavior has real consequences, and when companies like mine stop prioritizing profit over basic human principles. He stood up fully, commanding the entire space with quiet authority. "This incident will become mandatory training material for all 130,000 American Airlines employees worldwide." Karen whimpered audibly. "Miss, Mitchell's behavior today will be studied as a textbook example of how not to treat fellow passengers." Sarah's audience had swelled to 190,000 viewers. Number executive meltdown was trending globally across all platforms. "But this story doesn't end with punishment and destruction," Marcus continued with growing strength. "It ends with education and opportunity." He held up the press release again. "The Wings of Equity initiative includes full scholarship programs for underrepresented communities, partnerships with historically black colleges and universities for aviation careers, and comprehensive mentorship programs for future industry leaders." His voice grew stronger and more inspiring. "Miss, Mitchell's discrimination today will directly fund tomorrow's opportunities for hundreds of young people who look like me." Karen was crying now, mascara streaking down her cheeks in black rivers. "Your executive platinum membership is permanently terminated, but your corporate account suspension can be reviewed in exactly 6 months if Mitchell Realty Group successfully completes our comprehensive diversity training program." A tiny glimmer of hope flickered in Karen's desperate eyes. "That program costs $25,000 and takes 3 months of intensive training to complete." The hope died immediately. "Consider it an investment in becoming a better human being." Marcus gathered his papers with methodical precision. "Now, Ms. Mitchell, I believe you're sitting in my seat." Karen rose from seat 2A like a condemned prisoner walking to execution. Her designer blazer was wrinkled, her makeup streaked, her executive platinum card clutched uselessly in her trembling hand. I'm so sorry," she whispered as Marcus approached his rightful seat. "Miss Mitchell," Marcus said quietly, "your apology isn't for me. It's for every person you've ever looked down on because of their appearance." He gestured toward Sarah's phone, still live streaming to 200,000 viewers worldwide. "Tell them what you've learned." Karen faced the camera, her voice shaking. I made assumptions based on how someone looked. I thought spending money gave me the right to treat people as less than human. I was wrong. Completely wrong. The live stream comments exploded. "Owned! Justice served! Say it louder!" Marcus sat down in his assigned seat with quiet dignity. "Jennifer, we can begin boarding completion now." The flight attendant nodded gratefully. "Yes, sir. Miss Mitchell, I need to escort you to your new seat assignment." "New seat?" Karen's voice cracked. Marcus pulled up the seating chart on his phone. "You're being moved to 34B middle seat, between a family with crying twins and a passenger who brought fish sandwiches." Karen's face crumpled further, from first-class luxury to economy hell. "Your connecting flight to LaGuardia has also been canceled," Marcus continued with clinical precision. "You'll need to rebook at personal expense. No airline assistance will be provided." As Karen walked the gauntlet toward economy, passengers stared and whispered. Several had recognized her from the viral live stream already spreading across social media. Mark Harrison stood frozen by the galley, his supervisor badge feeling like a scarlet letter. "Mark," Marcus called out, Before security escorts you from the aircraft, there's something you should know. Mark approached reluctantly. Your decision today violated federal DOT regulation 14 CFR 382.7, which prohibits discrimination in air transportation. That's not just company policy, that's federal law. Mark's remaining color drained away. Your suspension will be reviewed by our legal department, the Department of Transportation, and potentially the Department of Justice if they choose to investigate. Marcus accessed his phone again. I'm sending your case to our chief legal officer with a recommendation for immediate termination and industry blacklisting. Sir, please. Mark, in 23 years, how many passengers like me have you treated this way? Mark couldn't answer because the truth would destroy him completely. Your silence speaks volumes. Security Officer Rodriguez approached nervously. Mr. Williams, what would you like us to do about our response? Marcus considered this carefully. Officer Rodriguez, you responded to incomplete information from biased sources. That's a training failure, not necessarily a character failure. Rodriguez looked hopeful. However, your company's contract requires anti-bias training every 6 months. When did you last complete that training? I'm not sure, sir. Check your records. Report back to me within 24 hours. If training is overdue, Allied Universal Security loses their contract with American Airlines. Rodriguez nodded quickly and began making calls. Marcus turned to address the entire cabin. Passengers had their phones out, recording everything. Ladies and gentlemen, what you've witnessed today represents everything wrong with customer service hierarchy in America. His voice carried authority and wisdom. Miss Mitchell believed that spending money gave her the right to discriminate. Mark believed that customer revenue mattered more than human dignity. Security believed that appearances determined guilt. The cabin was absolutely silent except for the hum of recording devices. Effective immediately, American Airlines is implementing the following changes. Marcus stood, commanding the space like a boardroom. First, the VIP Status Responsibility Charter. Executive status now requires annual bias training and behavioral standards. Discrimination results in immediate status termination, regardless of lifetime spending. Sarah's live stream audience had swelled to 250,000 viewers. Comments were going crazy. Systemic change. This is history. Real leadership. Second, the Dignity Protocol. Every passenger interaction will be recorded and reviewed by AI for bias indicators. Staff will receive real-time coaching to prevent incidents like today. He pulled out his phone, speaking directly to his legal team on speaker. Legal, draft immediate policy updates. All customer-facing employees get refresher training within 30 days. Any discrimination complaint triggers automatic investigation by independent third parties. Understood, Mr. Williams, came the response. Implementing across all 350 airports immediately. Marcus continued his announcement. Third, the Wings of Equity Scholarship Program launches today, funded partially by revenues recovered from terminated discriminatory VIP accounts. Karen, now squeezed into her middle seat between crying babies, heard every word of her financial punishment being transformed into opportunity for others. We're partnering with Howard University, Spelman College, and Morehouse College to create pathways for underrepresented students into aviation careers. The live stream comments shifted, turning hate into hope. This is how you lead. Education over revenge. Marcus accessed his contacts list publicly. I'm calling Robert Thompson, chairman of our board of directors, to make these changes official. The phone rang twice before connecting. Marcus, how did the Atlanta meetings go? Robert, I'm on flight 2847, and we need an emergency board vote. I'm live streaming to 270,000 people right now. Live streaming? What happened? I just experienced firsthand why our discrimination complaints have increased 23% this year. Marcus explained the entire incident in clinical detail while the audience listened to corporate decision-making in real time. Jesus Christ, Marcus, are you okay? I'm fine. But our company culture isn't. I need board approval to implement immediate systemic changes. You have my vote. I'll call the other board members now. Thank you. Also, Robert, the passenger who discriminated against me had executive platinum status for 15 years. We've been enabling this behavior by prioritizing revenue over respect. Understood. Full support for whatever changes you recommend. Marcus hung up and addressed the camera again. In corporate America, real change happens when leadership experiences problems personally. Today, I experienced what thousands of passengers face every day. He paused, letting that sink in. But unlike most passengers, I have the power to fix it. And I will. Jennifer approached with an update. Sir, Captain Rodriguez requests permission to make an announcement about the delay. Tell the captain we're ready for departure. This conversation is complete. Marcus looked directly into Sarah's camera. Miss Lane, thank you for documenting this incident. Your live stream has created accountability that might not have existed otherwise. Sarah found her voice for the first time. Mr. Williams, this has been incredible to witness. Sarah, you've just filmed the moment American Airlines chose dignity over dollars. I hope other companies are watching. The live stream had reached 300,000 viewers. Number sign dignity over dollars was trending globally. Marcus pulled out the press release one final time. The Wings of Equity initiative was supposed to be announced quietly at a board meeting. Instead, it's being announced to the world because of Miss Mitchell's behavior. He looked toward economy class, where Karen was visible between the seat cracks, completely miserable. Miss Mitchell, your discrimination today will fund college educations for dozens of young people who look like me. Your hatred is being transformed into hope. Karen was sobbing openly now. Your executive platinum privileges are gone forever, but the scholarships you've inadvertently funded will last for generations. Marcus gathered his belongings with methodical precision. The irony is perfect. A woman who told me I didn't belong in first class has just funded a program to put more people who look like me in first class. The live stream comments were unanimous. Poetic justice. Beautiful karma. This is perfection. Ladies and gentlemen, Marcus concluded, this is how systemic change happens. Not through violence, not through revenge, but through accountability, transparency, and transformation. He sat back down, finally relaxed. Now let's go to New York. I have a press conference to attend. Captain Rodriguez's voice came over the intercom. Ladies and gentlemen, we're cleared for departure. Thank you for your patience during this educational experience. The plane began to taxi as Sarah ended her live stream. 300,000 people had just witnessed corporate justice in real time. 3 hours later, Flight AA2847 touched down at JFK International Airport. Marcus Williams had transformed a moment of personal humiliation into a masterclass in corporate leadership. The plane taxied to the gate as passengers remained glued to their phones, sharing clips and commentary. Sarah's original live stream had been viewed over 2 million times. #1 trending topic worldwide. Karen Mitchell sat hunched in seat 34B, surrounded by the debris of her former life. Her phone buzzed constantly with notifications. Her real estate business partners were calling. Her executive platinum card lay cracked on her tray table like a broken promise. Marcus gathered his belongings with the same quiet dignity he'd maintained throughout the entire ordeal. As he walked toward first-class exit, passengers began applauding spontaneously. "Thank you," whispered the businessman from 1A. "That was leadership." "What you did today matters," said an elderly woman in 3C. Marcus nodded graciously but didn't linger. Real leaders don't bask in applause. At the gate, a crowd of reporters and cameras waited. Word had spread through aviation industry networks and social media faster than the aircraft itself. Mr. Williams called a CNN reporter. "Can you comment on today's incident?" Marcus paused, choosing his words carefully. Today wasn't about one passenger's bad behavior. Today was about systemic change that's long overdue in customer service across all industries. What's your message to other executives watching this? Simple. Experience your business the way your most vulnerable customers do. You might be shocked by what you discover. Behind him, Karen emerged from the jet bridge, immediately swarmed by phones and questions. Her face was puffy from crying, her designer clothes wrinkled beyond repair. "Miss Mitchell, do you regret your actions?" She paused, looked back toward the aircraft, then toward Marcus, speaking confidently to the media. I ruined my business today because I couldn't see past someone's appearance. I have a lot of work to do on myself. It wasn't much, but it was honest." Marcus's press conference drew millions of viewers across multiple platforms. Standing at the podium, he looked nothing like the humble passenger from seat 2A just hours earlier. The Wings of Equity initiative launches immediately with $75 million in funding, he announced. By next year, we'll have 500 new scholarship recipients in aviation programs at historically black colleges and universities. Questions flew from the audience. Will Ms. Mitchell face legal consequences? Miss Mitchell has already faced the most important consequence: public accountability. Her behavior has been seen by millions of people. That's more powerful than any lawsuit. What about the employees involved? Mark Harrison's employment has been terminated. Allied Universal Security is under contract review. But this isn't about punishment. It's about prevention. Marcus stepped closer to the microphones. Here's what I want everyone watching to understand. Discrimination isn't just about individual prejudice. It's about systems that enable and protect that prejudice. He paused for emphasis. Today, we changed those systems. The press conference ended, but the conversation was just beginning. Within 24 hours, Delta Airlines announced their own bias training review. United Airlines committed to similar transparency measures. Southwest began developing their version of dignity protocols. One incident had sparked industry-wide transformation. 6 months later, the first Wings of Equity scholarship recipients would begin their aviation studies. Karen Mitchell's discrimination had funded opportunities for 47 young people to enter an industry that had excluded them for generations. The middle seat in 34B had cost her everything and given others everything. Perfect justice. Marcus Williams had proven that real power isn't about the seat you occupy. It's about the systems you change for everyone who comes after you. Your turn to create change. Have you witnessed discrimination in travel, work, or daily life? Share your story in the comments below. Your experience might be exactly what someone else needs to hear. Hit that share button. Let's make sure everyone sees what accountability looks like in real time. Subscribe to Black Voices Uncut for more stories of quiet power creating loud change. Follow the Wings of Equity Scholarship Program for updates on how today's discrimination became tomorrow's opportunity. Remember, you don't need to be a CEO to demand dignity. You just need to be human. What system will you change today?